Hi friends, it's Sarah Millerhouse here, and I am excited to share a new layout for you today using the Shimmerz Paints color kits. So here, what I'm demonstrating, this is the paper color kits collection for April. And then I'm also going to be showing you the all of the beautiful mediums that are included in the April color kits as well. So I'm just kind of going through and showing you the colors. There's 5 different colors, and I'm going to demonstrate those, how they look when you actually put them down on paper. So the first color I'm using there is the Vibes Deep Blue Sea, and what I'm doing is I'm just kind of demonstrating the difference you get when you spray the color versus when you take that same medium and add it with a paintbrush. So really cool variations on colors there. The one that I'm doing right now is an Inklings, so it comes dry and you just add water to activate that color, and that's called Me and Blue. And then that last one, the one that I'm doing right now, is also an Inklings called Ice Sage. So there's 5 different colors there. 2 of them you can see that I did twice. So just wanted to kind of show the differences there in those mediums and the finishes you get. There's lots of beautiful shimmer. So I'm going to be using 3 of those colors on the layout today, and then also the paper color kits collection. So here I just cut an oval using my my old school Creative Memories cutting system that I still love to use, and I just used a scratch piece of paper. It's like printer paper, computer paper, because I'm just going to be gluing down all of the beautiful patterned papers in the collection this month to the top of that. So I just needed the shape. So here what I did is I took my my scissors. So these are actually, you can get French scissors. I have a pair of French scissors that are made specifically for cutting fringe. But the scissors that I'm using here are actually, they're called herb shears. So they're made for cutting herbs like scallions or rosemary, or herbs that you use to cook with. So I bought those on Amazon, and they actually work a lot better than my fringe scissors that I bought. So I just like the scale of them and the size of the little fringe pieces that you get. So what I did is I took a bunch of the patterned papers from the April Color Kits collection, and I cut strips of those pieces of paper 1.5 inches wide, an 1.5 inches wide. And then I used those French scissors to create all of that great texture. And you'll see here in a minute, I am going to kind of rough it up. Right now, it's kind of hard to tell that there's even texture there, but I am going to be roughing that up. And then here what I'm doing is I went back and added just some pink ribbon in, because I'm making an Easter layout, and I love to have kind of all the colors in there. So the paper color kits has a lot of beautiful oranges, kind of orangey yellows and blues and greens, and it's got some great, I love the patterns, and the thickness of the paper is fantastic. So but I wanted to add in a little bit of pink, because there are some pinks in the embellishments on this embellishment sheet that are here, and that I'm going to be fussy cutting out and using on the layout. So I kind of wanted to pull in that pink also to the egg. So I don't know if I said that. That's a giant egg. Hopefully that's kind of obvious when you're looking at it and seeing that I'm doing an Easter layout. Hopefully you're kind of already getting that vibe there. So these are some beautiful embellishments that are on the patterned paper that you just cut apart yourself. And so now I'm going to be adding all of the great mediums to the background. So I started with the Vibes Deep Blue Sea, and I am applying it with a paintbrush because I kind of wanted to be very specific about where that color was going. So I put the egg down and traced around it so that I knew where that color needed to go. I didn't want the color to be super crazy in the background, so I kind of wanted it to just peek out and add some dimension and some beautiful shimmer and shine. So it's going to be poking out around the edge of where that egg is going to end. So I used the brush just to kind of brush on some color, and then I'm also using that same brush to add some splatters and some big drops of color. And I love how this medium looks when you add all these different layers, because they do dry and you can see the layers that I'm adding here as I go. So now what I'm doing is I'm adding that Inklings Me and Blue, and I'm just going and adding some drops and some shimmers of that on top. And in the close-ups, you'll be able to see, you can see all of these layers of color. And I love how that looks. And then the last one is the Ice Sage, that Inklings Ice Sage. So I'm going to add, again, same thing, some drops of that color and some splatters of it. And you can see it's going to just peek out from behind that egg. I am going to pick up some of that excess color. You could sit and let it dry on its own. These mediums are amazing and dry pretty quickly, but sometimes I'm impatient, didn't want to wait. So I went ahead and dried it with a paper towel. And I also love that the paper towel actually adds a little bit of pattern, because my paper towels have patterns on them. So it actually adds a little bit of pattern to the medium, which is kind of fun. So here what I did is I glued down that egg, and now I'm just going and roughing up. You can kind of see roughing up a little bit of that fringe. And now I'm going to kind of play around with the placement of the things that I'm wanting to add. So I love those flowers. They're so pretty, especially those big blue ones from the April Paper Kits collection. So I'm cutting out things and kind of deciding what I want to go where. I love this little bunny. Such a sweet little bunny. And I love that it kind of looks vintage, almost like the Velveteen Rabbit is what it reminded me of. So from the original Velveteen Rabbit book, I just loved it, thought it was a sweet little bunny. So I cut that one out, and then I'm going to end up using also the little chicks that are on the page. Here what I'm doing is I'm just choosing some colors for matting my photos. And I did off camera add a white mat to my photo before I added the yellow behind it, just because I wanted my photos to stand out from everything behind them. So I did add that little white mat. And I'm using the Tim Holtz edge distresser or paper distresser to distress the edges of those mats before I put them on, because I love the texture that adds. Not that it needed any more, because it's got great texture on this layout with all of that fringe that I've got going on there and the ribbon. I love how the papers and the mediums coordinate so well together. It kind of takes the guesswork out, which is awesome. I'm adding a little bit of craft foam to the back of my photos. So that's the foundation. So that's the starting of my layout here. And then what I did is I pulled out the Inklings Loose Lips Pink Ships from the March color kit. So this is just from, if you order the color kits every month, you'll have this one. So this one is from the March color kit. And I love that pink. And so I just went and added that just to kind of draw in the pink embellishments that are in the paper color kit, and then also the pink ribbon that I added to the egg. So it's not going to be, that pink is not going to be super overwhelming on the layout. It's going to be just kind of poking out behind. Once I get all of the clusters added of embellishments, it'll be kind of poking out the back. And here I'm adding craft foam to the back of those flowers. I do everything, all of the flowers that I add, I do curl up the edges of the petals and the leaves and all of those things to add even more texture to the layout. what I'm doing there is I just glued down. So the fringe, if you're gonna adhere things on top of it, it does make it a little bit, like, it would be pretty flimsy and it would move around a lot if you didn't glue down those little pieces of fringe. So I just glued those down before I started gluing embellishments on top of them. Love those little sweet butterflies from the embellishment sheet. I'm popping those up on craft foam. I think I do end up moving those at the end. And I love this little sweet little duckling with the bunny. I love how that looks. The bunny is sort of looking towards my photo and the little ducklings are looking away. And then there was grass. So this little piece of grass on that embellishment sheet, I actually used it to cut a bunch of leaves. So I needed leaves for my flowers, and I loved how that grass looked and the texture that the visual texture that it added with the variations in the green colors. And so I went ahead and just made my own little leaf shapes. And I'm tucking those in around the floral clusters. Okay, so here I moved the butterflies, and I'm gonna add just some little acrylic title pieces. These are from Bramble Fox. And then I go back and add my butterflies around them. So the one butterfly is below and then two butterflies above. I'm adding some little shiny bits there, and then these are just liquid pearls, almost like puff paint. My husband calls it puff paint. And as an 80s baby, I think that's fun. Kind of a throwback to our puff paint days, but I love how they dry raised, and just add a few little visual elements there. And I love how adding those liquid pearls to the center of the flowers kind of bring those flowers to life. Here, that acrylic piece from Bramble Fox was a little bit the wrong color to match the pattern paper, so I just colored it a little bit to match that mustardy yellow color that's there in the pattern papers. Here's the close-up. You can see all of those embellishments and how adding some detailing to them helped with the shimmer and shine, and got some close-ups there of each of those parts of the layout. And I loved using these kits this month, and hopefully you will purchase them. If you do, make sure and add my name to your order in the comments section, Sarah Millerhouse, and you will get a free gift. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.